Shalom Aleichem, brothers and sisters. How are you? We're going to be dealing with, I think, a very important subject for those who have ears to hear, those who are truly seeking to come out of Babylon, that as we embrace the Messianic Hebrew message, the true message from the scriptures, that we must understand the difference between those who continue on interpreting word from the cognitive order that was established in us in Babylon. We need to understand that there is a true element of the word and a false element. And we must discern wisely the element that we're in. The system of the Rashim is a tyrant system. It is a manipulative system. It is a deceitful system. It thrives on lies. The only time it tells truth is to cover another lie. It never tells truth because it doesn't care about the people. They only see people as a resource, black and white. The system of the elite is designed to produce people who are productive for their benefit. And so we are enslaved and blinded because they have given us a righteousness that is not equated to the righteous standard of Yahweh Elohim. A righteous standard that was fulfilled by his Messiah, Yeshua, and the effect of that fulfillment was resurrection and glorification. Therefore it is written that for this purpose were we called to obtain the glory, or the same effect in life that Yeshua received, resurrection from spiritual death and glorification. Glorification, a complete embodiment of divine nature and the Spirit of Yahweh as our life source. This is what we need to pinpoint as our purpose: the hope, tikwa, the waiting, the expectation of chavod, glory. Okay, there is nothing but one hope. And we miss the mark when we allow these carnalizers to come in and to divert us from this hope. There's not 2 and 3 hopes. There's one hope, the hope of kavod, glory. Hope, tikwa in the Hebrew, is also sometimes translated wait. And this word has been used by the servants of the house, those who have religion but still have the intent of empowering and supporting the system for their comfort and convenience. We do it to get a job. We do it to buy a new car. We compromise our values just to have the things that the Rashim esteem as blessings. Those blessings that have its origin in the earth zone and not the spiritual blessings given to us by Yahweh through his Messiah, Yeshua, where it is taught that he has blessed us with every spiritual blessing in heavenly places. Set your mind above, where Mashiach is at the right hand of Elohim, and not below. on the things of the earth, because the fleshly mind, the earthly mind, is enmity against Elohim. But the spiritual mind is life and peace. And this is what we want to center on, because we want freedom that brings us life and peace. But we have people of our own fraction, or who claims to be of our own fraction, who is telling the people to wait and have this wait doctrine. That is, sit in your rocking chair. One day, Yah is going to do it. But this is not what the Torah teaches us. The Torah does not teach us a wait doctrine, or that Yahweh responds to us on a nihilistic wait doctrine. This is error. Emphatically so. And it has retarded the spiritual and moral development of those who are calling on the name of Yahweh to be rescued. Rescued from the darkness of this world. Rescued from a life of kata, sin. That is, a life that is beneath the standard of the righteous requirements and moral definitive of Torah. And this must be perfectly understood. That the compromisers always, in the face of challenge and progress, want to go back to the slave master's house of dependency. This is his doctrine, hidden under the fleece wool of innocence. He don't want the challenge of freedom. He don't want to make the sacrifices that freedom demands in order to procure it. This is shown in Exodus chapter 14. Let's start with verse 12. See, these are the slave minds speaking now to Moshe. Those who covet the comforts and the conveniences of the culture of Misraim, constriction. They don't care about freedom. All they want is comfort and convenience. They envy their oppressor. They covet the things of the oppressor. And they desire his ways, even though in a time where there is no challenge, they protest his ways. But when challenge comes, the true intent is manifested. And they begin to say what they really want, as they did here. Is not this the word that we did tell you in Misraim, saying, leave us alone. Go somewhere talking about freedom. Nobody want to hear nothing about no freedom. We good. All right? We good. Exploited, slaves, living in misery. But it's okay. We got food. We got a house. Got a little chariot. Everything good. Didn't we tell you to leave us alone? Okay, but you didn't understand, Moses. So that we might serve the Misraimites. It's all coming out now under challenge. When the chariots of Misraim gathered around them, when it was time for war and the action of true Emunah, what is translated faith. Emunah means firm action. When it was time for firm action, they regress back into a condition that was kata, beneath the standard that is required by Yahweh to attain freedom. This must be perfectly understood. For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. See, slaves don't want to die at any cost. Not for freedom, not for dignity, not for honor. They don't want to die for nothing. All they want to do is fill their belly, to be comfortable, to get the crumbs off the system's table. And as long as those crumbs fill their belly, and they can look at TV 4 hours a night, go on vacation once a year, they have no desire for a freedom, not true freedom. They love cosmetic freedom. They love the freedom contained within the master's house. They used to call them house niggas. I guess we could use that expression, but we don't want to use the N word. We only want to continue the behavior. But let's not use the word. We don't want to identify it. Okay? Let's be politically correct. So I'll be politically correct and won't use the phrase house nigger. We won't use that. And now they got Moses all mixed up. It don't seem like he mixed up because it sounds good. What he says sounds good. But you'll see that Yahweh had to correct him on this good sounding preaching that he doing, to encourage the people. Oh, it sound good. But it did not express the perfect will of Yahuwah. Because Yahuwah ain't about all this standing still. He's not about all this waiting in the rocking chair for some miracle to happen in the sky. From some city to fall out the sky that you're going to live in for 1,000 years. Total misinterpretation of the word based upon interpreting it from a carnal, fleshly, cognitive process. And Moses said unto the people, fear you not. That sounds good. Stand still. Wait. Be cool. Sounds good. And see the salvation of Yahweh. Ooh, sounds good. Hallelujah. Let's jump and shout. Sounds good. Which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. For Yahweh shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Don't say nothing. Be cool. Just let Yahweh do it. That sounds good. Good preaching. But Yahweh had to correct the prophet. We have to, even the great ones had to be corrected. It doesn't appear here that he said something that was congenial and encouraging. But it wasn't what Yah wanted him to say. See? We can say things just to please the people, to encourage them in a wrong way. Because you know how the religious mind is. They don't want to get up and do nothing. They like pews. They love giving offerings. And that way they feel that they have some control. That's what supremacist culture do, make you desire control. And we have no control. All sovereignty belongs to Yahweh. He is the controller. We are the servants. Let's get that in proper perspective. So Yahweh had to correct the prophet in 15. And Yahweh said to Moshe, wherefore criest thou out to me? What are you doing? Why you crying out to me? Why you making all this noise? You don't understand yet after all that you did in Misraim. You come out here and you develop this false weight doctrine. Stand still, see what I'm going to do. Okay, let me correct you about this, and let me tell you how this works. He said, no, don't wait, but speak unto the children of Israel that they might go forward. I see a movement. They got to do something. I'm not going to pick them up and take them over the sea. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to rescue them like that. No, you got to do something. I'm going to respond to correct behavior that is congenial with divine purpose. They got to get up and they got to move forward. And then he corrects them even more. But you lift up the rod. See, I gave you this power on Mount Horeb. I said, pick up the rod and take the rod and show the sign. Use it because it is a symbol of divine power that I have invested in you. To them who receive him, he has given them power to become sons of Elohim. See, we've been taught in their culture, the culture of the Rashim, receive Jesus in your heart. Believe. Pay tithes. Don't drink. Don't smoke. One day you're going to die and go to heaven. Oh, just believe. But this is not what Yah teaches us. He is Elohim of Koach, the power to perform. Koach. They that wait, Tikwa, have their expectation in Yahweh while they are fulfilling his will, shall mount up with wings, pinions. Pinions, that word in the Hebrew means the power to fly into freedom. They shall mount up with the pinions of the eagle. They shall have the ability to fly, to take off, to ascend in a state of freedom. Look the word up. Study it for yourself to see if I'm not playing no game with you. I'm not trying to deceive you. Those that are telling you to wait, sit in a rocking chair and do nothing. Stand still and just see the salvation. It's going to come one day. Them the ones deceiving you, the ones that making you feel comfortable in your incompetence. Them the ones that are deceiving you. I'm not deceiving you. They that wait have their expectation through fulfilling the will of Yahweh shall take up their wings, their pinions, like eagles. Pinions, the ability to fly into freedom. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. These are action words, verbs. Sitting is an action that ends. Once you sit, you just there. But to run and not be weary means you're going to continue running because you don't have any weariness. Nothing that tells you in your body or your spirit to stop. You only stop when you get tired. But when you have the power of Yahweh rolling in you, you run and you are not weary. You have a relentless effort to fulfill his will. So he tells Moses, lift up the rod. And you stretch it over the sea and divide it, because I have invested my power in you. And once I put my power in you, it is your moral responsibility to appropriate that power unto the fulfillment of my will. He had to correct him. Moses been hanging around the slaves too long, listening to all that religious cliche. It infected his mind. And Yah had to correct him. Hold up. Listen to my voice, not the voice of the slave. This is why Nat Turner made a statement. It always moved me when I read it. He said, when I saw myself to be great, I separated myself from the common slave and dedicated myself to fasting and prayer and study of the word, waiting for a sign from the Lord, in the terminology that he used. See, that was a great impact on my thinking. That those who choose the slavery of sin, he that sinneth is a slave, who take delight in a life of slavery that is beneath the standard of Yahweh's righteous requirements of life, I don't need to be around, whether you call yourself Hebrew, Christian, Muslim, or whatever. If you're not seeking to equate and become one as an appropriator of the righteous requirements of Elohim, but you are comfortable in a righteousness as defined by the system, as defined by the dream of the system, and that when you procure all these materialistic devices and gifts that you call blessings, that you okay. I got a job, I got a house, I got a car, I'm good. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm good. I don't eat pork, I'm good. Okay. But Yahweh requires you to lift up the rod and make a way for the people once he has empowered you. Once he has placed moral responsibility within you. And in order to justify this nihilistic, cowardly lifestyle, we develop the doctrine of stand still. And we use this very scripture in many cases without reading the full consequences that occurred. Yahweh changed that. He said, no. Tell the people to move forward. They got to do something. And you lift up the rod of power, stretch it over the sea, and you divide it by the power that I have invested in you. That you can't stop at that one verse. You got to keep going to see the full context of what actually took place. And I'm not saying this to be mean. I call black, black, white, white, stink, stink, smell good, smell good. Because we are taught, let your yes be yes and let your no be no. Anything other than that is of the Rashim, the evil one. Okay? And my efforts is to ascend the pattern of behavior and cognitive thoughts, order that produces behavior beneath the standard of Elohim. I want to run and not be weary. I want to walk and not faint, become unconscious. See? And if we would listen to those that are trying to inspire us to take a new position, a position of moral responsibility, a position of action, of courage, of pride, dignity, that we can restore a lost generation And stop feeling like somebody is trying to put you down. Get over the inferiority of your mind that has been engrafted through a life of living in a culture of hatred towards you. Get over it. You are son of Elohim. You are Ha'adam, a vessel of divine nature. Have confidence in this new identity, for I have said that you are Elohim, a form compatible with the form of the Elohim by which you can purify and receive the divine nature of Elohim. He wants to put the rod in your hand, but you got to stop envying your oppressor and taking on his ways. You can't have the ways of supremacist culture and the ways of divine culture integrated. Thou shalt not idolatrate. I love Israel and those who are engrafted into the covenant of Israel. I fight every day to get this message out, but we are people of hard hearts and stiff necks. And all day Yah is calling to you. Move forward. Stop standing still. Let go of Misraim. Stop wanting to go back to it when I show you the way out. I'll give you the power to cross over. I'll give you the power to be Hebrews in actuality, but you got to cross over, and you can't cross over standing still. You cross over by moving forward. I thank Yah. And I pray Yah to send laborers, students, people who are willing to learn the language, to break down the word, to develop a culture of prayer. Stop hating. Stop accusing. And let's move forward. This is my desire for Israel. That we might move across this Red Sea of idiocy, of false doctrine, of Christianization and rhetoric into the land of promise, a land of milk, knowledge, and honey, wisdom that brings joy. The joy of fulfillment. That's where the power is, people. This must be perfectly understood. A dream deferred make the heart sick. That's why we're sick. We're very unfaithful in supporting one another, in encouraging one another, in lifting up one another, in all the positive things. We're very unfaithful. But when you begin to fulfill tzedakah towards your community, when you begin fulfill healing towards your community, when you begin shining your light before men, and those who are in darkness begin to lift their hands and say, Hallelujah. That's when your joy, because a desire fulfilled maketh the heart happy. And we can no longer stay in this realm of unfulfillment, looking at the Red Sea while the enemies beat us down. At some point, we got to get out of our religious rocking chairs and move forward. So I invite you, move forward. Study. Show thyself approved. Develop that culture of prayer, intercession before the altar of incense. And Yah will pour down his lightning and his voices and his thunder and that earthquake that brings about that change in your ontological disposition where you can receive divine nature and empowerment to build a nation. That's what this is all about. Building a holy nation that will be a light of good works unto the world. I hope the few that listen to the messages that I give take this to heart, because the call will go forth through Yahweh's people for the gathering, the organizing, and we need to be ready to move forward. Study, pray, and keep the mitzvot of Yahweh and the testimony of Yeshua until you have a conscious enlightenment of the truth of the message that he brought to us. I thank you for listening, those that have listened, and I hope that you would encourage others to listen. I love Israel, and I hate to see it in the condition that it is in. All truth in Yeshua HaMashiach. Shalom Aleichem.